What is up, AFC South Roundtable? We had some real football this week, and I gotta say, not a lot of winning happening in this division. I'm a little concerned, but let's see what the actual members of the panel have to say. Are they concerned? Is it a big deal? Anthony Richardson, Danny Dimes. Let's get to these guys. What's up, fellas? First, get to my guy representing the Houston Texans. Ruben, how you doing, brother?
Man, I am blessed and highly favored. Happy to be back. I missed you boys. Like I said, man, it's year 3. I'm hyped.
There we go. All right. Dalton, how you doing, brother?
All is good, man. Hey, like you said, our backups may have lost that game, but the Jaguars are still first place in the AFC South.
Perfect, man. Michael, how you doing, man?
I could be better, but it's whatever.
we're gonna get to it. All right, and Derek, last but not least, brother, how you been?
I'm doing pretty good. I can honestly say I am more dependable and reliable at showing up to my job than Anthony Richardson at this point.
So oh, the slander starts.
Oh, no.
The heel turn. The heel turn
starts.
He already took the bullet for us.
He had to. He had to get one in.
I cannot pass up this opportunity. We cannot bury the lead. We are talking about that game first right now because Anthony Richardson, you are such a big supporter of his, and this man gets another injury. Looks like he should be fine. Danny Dimes comes in. It seems to me, you happen to come across my timeline this week. I'm not going to lie. And it seems to me like there's starting to become a rift in the fan base for Anthony Richardson supporters, guys who are against Anthony Richardson. And I know this all too well because I remember when the 49ers drafted Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo was winning games, and it was just this divide in the fan base. That divide didn't stop once Brock Purdy took over. So I see where your fan base is headed, brother, and I'm a little concerned about them. But first, let's talk about this game overall. How are you feeling about how things went down?
There's always been a rift when it comes to the Colts fan base and Anthony Richardson. That's always been a thing. But as far as the game goes itself, I'm upset by the beginning of that because, the first couple throws that Anthony Richardson had, he was on target, was for the most part on time. And, I felt like things were going pretty good to start. We were moving the ball. And then, just out of nowhere, you run a play and it's just like one of the craziest things that you'd ever seen where it's like the free rusher comes off the edge and you're like, why is nobody blocking him? And then everyone on every football analyst / NFL commentator, they're all saying no, that he actually should have went right. And it was a misread by Anthony Richardson. The Colts never specifically said which one is which in this scenario. Not even Anthony Richardson said definitively what is wrong with that, how that play broke up. But yeah, I was afraid, man, that freaking pinky was at a 90-degree angle, man. I'm surprised that thing didn't break. All in all, yeah, the dislocated pinky, it's actually really good now. He practiced 2 days later. The first couple practices this weekend, it weren't so great for him from an accuracy standpoint, but the practice yesterday was actually really good for him. So all in all, I don't think the pinky is really affecting him much anymore. But yeah, I'm disappointed in the fact that, we didn't get to see more reps from him in that regard. Cause, once again, he did something that, put his job in jeopardy because of that. And, we didn't get to, and that overshadows all the other things that you could talk about, which is, the AD Mitchell looked great. Tyler Warren, the rookie tight end, looked great. And, other than that, I mean, the defensive side of the ball, I'm very concerned about. Now, obviously, the majority of the starters didn't play. And as it currently sits right now, our secondary is completely decimated, like completely decimated. Almost all of them are destroyed. And of course, when you don't have DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart in there, other teams are going to run the football on the Indianapolis Colts. But all in all, everything was talked about Anthony Richardson instead of, talking about the rest of the team.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I was so impressed with Adonai Mitchell. We talked about it last week. He was like one of my draft crushes, like the one that got away. I was hoping the 49ers would take him over Ricky Pearsall. But he showed out in the joint practices. Those videos were crazy. And then in the game, he did the same thing. And I don't know, man. I really liked Anthony Richardson coming out. I thought that people kind of undersold him a little bit, and I like the pairing specifically with Steichen. It just hasn't seemed to work out. And I look at guys like Adonai Mitchell and Pittman and Warren, and I think to myself, would these guys truly be utilized at their best with Richardson at quarterback? And I just, the more I look at it, the more I think about it, I just start to think the answer is probably no. Do you think I'm wrong there, or what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, no doubt that there are question marks when it comes to the best utilization of these guys. I mean, the thing is, though, like both quarterbacks in training camp have continuously found Tyler Warren in multiple different ways. So I'm not too worried about that. It's just the ultimate question of, do you want the quarterback that is going to hit 70% of his passes within 10 yards and has virtually no ability to throw the football down the field? Or do you want the quarterback that gives you that opportunity to stretch the field, but he's going to miss the occasional layup and he's going to have that occasional lapse where you're just like, what the hell are you doing? Like that's the problem that you have when it comes to Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. I mean, I think most people give Daniel Jones the nod at the moment just because of the fact that he's been available. I mean, if you've been watching Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones go back and forth in training camp all throughout this, they are neck and neck. I mean, neither one of these guys is really taking a leg up on one another, which I think bodes well for Anthony Richardson still getting the job. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, if you can't keep yourself healthy, brother, then I mean, you're not going to really have much of a choice.
Yeah, agree. Dalton, we got to talk about your matchup with the Steelers. 31-25. What did you see from that game that we need to know about?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest takeaway is that offensive starters played one drive, defensive starters played one drive. So there wasn't a whole lot of action that we really saw out of that game. And just offensively, I mean, I thought they did pretty good. I know people were saying before the game, okay, what do you want to see out of the starting offense? I'm like, let me just see a bunch of first downs. And the Jaguars did that. They completed, like Trevor Lawrence was like 6 for 7. He was throwing it downfield pretty well. And the Jaguars just mainly hurt themselves when it comes to just penalties. I mean, they were pretty heavily penalized that drive. But I like the way they spread the ball around. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. got a reception. Travis Hunter got a couple of receptions. De'Ami Brown on it in the round. Parker Washington, tight end Britton Strange. So they were really distributing the ball around pretty well. It's just such a tease in the preseason where you only get to see these guys for one actual drive. So, yeah, that's from the offense. I mean, they got backed up and they got themselves like a 1st and 20 or 2nd and 20 situation and couldn't convert out of it. So they kicked themselves a field goal. Defensively, starters played for one drive and yeah, they got kind of taken to school, man. I mean, Mason Rudolph went 7 for 7, 70 yards downfield in the touchdown. I think the Jaguars were thrown off a little bit because they came out there running a lot of tempo and the Jaguars were just never really getting themselves set. And if you look at the Jaguars, like, the offense is learning a new scheme and the defense is learning a new scheme. So I don't know how much tempo they're actually seeing right now. At practice, I think both teams are trying to kind of get their head around the schemes. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that it was good that they saw that look and they kind of know what to improve on a little bit. But, a lot of penalties. Travis Hunter, it was cool seeing him. I mean, he had himself 2 receptions. And, I mean, you just see him out there in the defensive backfield. I mean, he's smooth. I mean, he's the Jaguars' best cornerback right now. I mean, he's going to be really good. I just hope that it works out where he actually is playing both sides of the ball really effectively, and we can do that, for a long time in his career, because that guy is a real difference maker. Then overall, I mean, everybody saw the 70-yard field goal that was made that game. That was insane. I mean, and it's crazy because so he also made that, and he made a couple 40-yarders, a 50-yarder, and the Jaguars were really bad last year, but our kicker was pretty good. He was 28 for 28 on extra points last year, 26 for 28 on field goals or something like that. So there weren't that many important kicks, but we do know that we have a pretty damn good field goal kicker. And I think one pretty cool thing to take away is that now with touchbacks getting to the 35-yard line, if 70 yards is Cam Little's range, then the Jaguars just need to get 12 yards to be in field goal range, right? I hate what they're doing with kickoffs. I don't like these touchbacks, how far up they're getting, but I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see how much of what this actually turns out to be, right? I don't know if they're going to be attempting 70-yard kicks in the first quarter, but at the end of the half, they're going to have a field goal returner out there, right? If in case it's short, he can run it back. But man, it's kind of wild the different scenarios that run through your mind with this guy.
Yeah, that's actually kind of crazy. I didn't really think about it like that. 12 yards on a touchback and you're in field goal range. That's absolutely insane. Travis Hunter, he played a little bit both ways. What did you see from him in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I really like what I saw of him. I mean, offensively, obviously 2 receptions. He got to open one time, but Trevor didn't see him. But I think if he had, he slipped on one where he could have did an end around it and really gotten out some room. I think maybe there's a cleat issue. So hopefully they can kind of switch that up to where he has some cleats where he doesn't slip in. And defensively, I mean, extremely sticky. I mean, he ran a route better than the wide receiver. I think it was Roman Wilson that he was covering for the Steelers. So that was nice. He did miss a tackle in that game, which, I don't know if I don't think it's a business decision, but just some stuff that he has to clean up on because, they were able to get kind of outside leverage. But I mean, first preseason game, when I'm looking at is kind of seeing just the shiftiness and really just seeing him in a defensive backfield. Just, I haven't gone to any training camp practices. So seeing him in person for the first time in a game was really fun to see.
Yeah, he looked every bit first early round pick. So that's good to see. It's interesting though, seeing players kind of weigh in across the league, hey, there's no way he's gonna be able to play both ways. So I want to see, I want to see it. It's must watch TV every week. How much does he actually play on both sides of the ball? It's going to be something that's monitored all season long for sure. We got ourselves a super chat from Titan. He says, "Sup, fellas, can we get the panel to predict what they think their teams are?" Oh, it's so funny you say that because I have had that now for 2 weeks. Is one that you keep in the chamber and just in case you need to go a little bit longer. So whatever, we'll do it right now. Teams records will be, or is it too soon? Tighten up. What do you guys think? Should we do it now or should we let it rest? I mean, I feel like we kind of owe Titan here, right?
I mean, it's a fan show, right? $10. These guys make these shows possible, so they gotta have to run it, right?
So.
Yeah, man, I think so. $1 of that $9.99. So
yeah.
Give the people what they want.
Here's what we'll do is I will save your record predictions for the other teams, but real quick, let's do the record predictions for your individual team. So, Ruben, we haven't heard from you as far as your game recap yet. So why don't we'll start with you on this one.
I'm going to go 12-5 here. I think the Houston Texans are going to have a good season. I think CJ Stroud is going to take a step forward in year 3. The only question that we are having about the Houston Texans is the offensive line. And against the Minnesota Vikings, the starters weren't out there, but they were able to move the ball pretty effectively on the ground. Our rookie, Aireontae Ersery, was at left tackle, looked good fantastic in the run, and, decent against the pass, but they were getting the ball out quick. I have them at 12-5. I have them sweeping Indianapolis. I have them sweeping Tennessee, and I have us, going 1-1 with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wow. All right. The only one that gets to take a game is Dalton's Jags. Michael, he says that they're going to sweep the Titans. Do you agree with him? And what is the Titans record this year?
Well, I mean, the Tennessee Titans have got their own issues going on with a new quarterback, learning a new system. So, not to throw out anything, no free shout outs, but, Cola and Jack are going to be your prediction for me.
Hey,
Nice. Well played. Very, very well played. All right. Dalton, what are those Jags going to do? I mean, you got some praise at least from one of your fellow panelists here. Kind of. I mean, 1-1 at least. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he's a real good guy. Yeah. So with the Jaguars, I mean, I think realistically, maybe an 8-9 football team. I mean, I'm hoping that really with the schedule, I mean, got a couple games against the Titans, got a couple games against the Colts. I don't really feel super intimidated by either of those teams, to be completely honest. But the Jaguars have some, pieces, right? Like Trevor Lawrence can be a really good quarterback, and we made a lot of excuses for him and this, and that, and like. I don't know if it's necessarily excuses as much as just reasons why he hasn't lived up to it, right? I mean, if you have if you ask a Texans fan about CJ Stroud's regression, they're going to tell you that, look at the circumstances, right? I kind of think it's been similar with Trevor Lawrence, where there's been some issues when it comes to just scheme and players around him. And the Jaguars wide receiver core, pretty damn good. I feel really good about that. Offensive line, probably pretty mid. Running back room, also pretty mid. I realized I got flashbacks last Saturday after like ETN and Tank Bigsby are like missing holes. It's just, I don't know. I think realistically, probably an 8-9 football team. And I think if you can push for a couple more wins, they might be able to sneak into a wild card spot.
Hey, I like the sober take there. It's good. I mean, I get it. You're a fan, but we don't have to go homers here. Like, we can be realistic about what's going on. But I don't know. I mean, are we going to get a realistic take here from Derek? What are your thoughts? I mean, 0-2 against the Texans. You agree with what was said by Ruben? What's your overall prediction?
We always play the Texans really freaking hard, so there's always a chance.
And then you sub yourself out, right?
But I say it's so hard right now because I don't really know the direction of this team. Like, I don't know if things are heading in the right direction or not. I can honestly just sit here and say I think we end up with about the similar type of record as what we had last year, being we were 8-9 last year. I'd say we go 9-8 this year. And that alone won't be good enough to save Chris Ballard's job.
Dang. What
That's
about
a homer
Steichen?
take.
I mean, Steichen's out too, right?
That's a homer
You would
take.
think,
you guys
but,
are ass,
like,
bro.
but the problem's been with Steichen is just like, I don't think the problem is Steichen, but I think that there's been plenty of criticism to suggest the idea that Steichen hasn't really handled being a head coach very well at certain points. I like his scheme. I like how he calls plays, and I like how, he can put people in positions to win. But the difference between being a coordinator versus being a head coach is a drastically different thing.
Dude, how would you say 9-8? What did you guys do to get better last year? You guys signed a couple of cornerbacks. Like, how can you see better? Like, I think this team is the best thing for this team is to lose a bunch of games and go into a full rebuild. Your roster is getting stale, man. You got old pieces that have been around forever. Time for a clean start, new ownership. You get brand new GM, head coach, Danny Dimes to the promised land. I think that's the way you guys got to go.
Well, I mean, you know what? The new ownership, that very well could be a new thing with just starting over. But I mean, the problem you have is when Ballard entered this offseason, he knew that, like, support amongst the fans, he has none. Like, there's virtually nobody in the Colts fandom that supports Chris Ballard. And that's why he had to go out and do the things that he did, because for the last couple of years, he's been telling fans, like, I don't listen to you guys. You guys don't know what's best for this team like I do. And, we continuously just continue to get worse and worse and worse. So he went and did what he's never done before, and that's spend money in the offseason. And he actually did that for the first time, and maybe too late, but he's doing it at least.
Yeah, but you said 9-8. You don't believe 9-8. You don't believe that. I know you don't believe that.
I do, because like we went 8-9 last year with a below average defense. Honestly, we were the 24th best defense in the league last year, and we had no stability at quarterback, absolutely none. And you're telling me that team went almost 500 when you had nothing going right for you in any circumstance. And this year, when you added so many pieces in that secondary, and you added some playmakers with Tyler Warren coming into the mix and all these other guys. And I just feel that the team didn't take a step back, because you have the same team, but you also brought in a couple of really good players.
Derek, I think you got into my cabinet.
Man, I don't know, because you also lost Will Fries, who went to the Minnesota Vikings.
Here's the thing. The only reason why I believe that we can have an epic fall part like we did, it was 2022. But the problem is 2022, not only did the offensive line and the quarterbacks, just the quarterback play and the offensive line play were absolutely atrocious, but like Frank Reich gave up. Like the head coach just flat out gave up.
That was like 4 years ago.
Head coach of the team. And
dude, be honest, Jim Irsay gave
control of the locker room. He lost all control, dude. It was terrible. I mean, that was a team that everyone said under the leadership of Matt Ryan would go into the playoffs, and then the complete opposite happened. So, but I mean, I just don't know how everyone automatically assumes that we have the same team but added a few more good players. And yet,
but you also lost
that means we're going to only win half the games. I don't understand.
Hell, you're injured right now. You've got like 6 guys
you're right now. You don't have a quarterback. Like,
and he said we do have a quarterback.
Well, you said that you're going to have
situation than what it was last year.
You said you're going to have more stability at quarterback. You have the same guys, and Anthony Richardson gets hurt hitting the juke button on Madden.
Danny Dimes is a better quarterback than Joe Flacco is at the current moment.
Oh,
so you're somebody save this moment. Somebody save this moment.
You're putting this 9-8 record on the potential Daniel Jones
getting clipped. I don't believe the people who say that the Tennessee Titans are gonna, win 9+ games this year under Cam Ward, and they're gonna be the third, maybe even close with the Jaguars for second best.
Why are you saying fuck me for? I'm just sitting right here just chilling.
Y'all, because y'all are ganging up on me. I gotta throw the shade somewhere.
You said 9-8, 9-8
yeah,
with
9-8.
Daniel Jones.
What's the big freaking deal? It's a 500, just barely above 500 record.
Oh man,
act like as if I'm saying that we're going to the Super Bowl or some shit, dude.
Here's the best thing about this, right? We all get to find out soon. Maybe he's off his rocker. Maybe he's not, time's going to tell. Time's going to tell. But we do have other preseason games to get to. So Ruben, actually, you know what? I'm going to switch it around. Let's go. We'll go Michael. Michael, I don't know what you're going to give me from this one. You guys put up a whopping 7 against the Bucks. But Cam Ward did play.
7. That was a well-earned 7.
Okay, all right, perfect. So talk to me about the Titans preseason game versus the Bucks.
Look, I mean, there's not much to talk about. I mean, you're going out and you want to see what Cam Ward does. Cam Ward goes out and he delivers. So 2 drives, one stalls out, gets the jitters out. Second drive, looks like a pro. Looks like he knows what he's doing. Looks like he's learning the system and getting himself acclimated to the NFL. So would have loved to seen him go 3 drives, but I guess that was asking too much. So regardless, I like what I saw in that second drive. Shows that he's really getting connected with his wide receivers. Calvin Ridley looks like he might have a breakout year with him. So in retrospect, I'm also interested to see how the linebacker class continues to progress. Cedric Gray, James Williams actually balled out and had a pretty good day.
Is there any position battles that you're paying close attention to? I know you just talked a little bit about linebacker. I don't know if it's just there's young guys that you're you're interested in seeing grow, or if there's actually some position battles, it's like this one could get a little bit spicy.
I think the spiciest one right now is the backup quarterback's position. I mean, Cam Ward's the guy regardless, but
Yeah.
that game Saturday was just ass. So let's just get that out of the way. The quarterbacks played like ass, and realistically, they're going to have to try and figure out if Brandon Allen's going to be number 2, or they bring in Trevor Siemian, a guy that's got some experience under his belt and a Super Bowl. But I'm not saying he's going to go and win a Super Bowl, but I like having a guy that knows how to keep calm under pressure and's been in some big pressure situations.
All right. Well, before we get over to Ruben, we got to go to Eric. Shout out to Eric for the super chat. He says, shout out to the AFC South Roundtable, which is the best panel on YouTube. Duval, stand up.
Yeah, you got to put me on a big screen real quick.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hold on. I got you. Yeah.
I got to give you guys a big Duval. There we go.
Nice. That's I don't know that that's ever gonna get old on this show, by the way. Can't wait for more of those. All right, Ruben, finally we get to you, brother. Your Texans also losing to the Vikings 20-10. I know you talked a little bit, offensive line, what have you, but just give me the full rundown here.
There's not a lot you could take away from my ass whooping, boys, but thank God this is the preseason, and I was only paying attention for the first couple of drives. The starting defense nor the starting offense, significant starters weren't out there at all. However, on the defensive side, the Minnesota Vikings starting offense was out there, could not score against the Houston Texans 2s and 3s. This defense continues to live up to the hype. The offense, no CJ Stroud, no Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, but we were just paying attention to the offensive line. And one of the things that, just blossomed on the screen was your rookie, Aireontae Ersery, who is only at left tackle because of the recent loss to Cam Robinson. So now we are having a conversation. Is the future of the left side for the Houston Texans already here and ready to start week 1 against the Los Angeles Rams? This is the beauty of training camp. You guys brought up training camp battles. There's one going on at the center position between Jake Andrews and Jared Patterson. Both of those boys went at it on Saturday. Both look good. We're going to need to see more games come out. But you can't take that much off of a loss, but it is the preseason.
Yeah, I mean, listen, preseason, I poked a little fun at the top of the show. Obviously, that nobody in the division won, but I mean, none of you can really talk trash to each other either. But there's always something to glean from preseason for sure. And everybody's doing something a little bit different. I'm actually excited to transition here in a moment to what this next week looks like, because 3 of you are in joint practices. And I think that's where you really learn the most about your teams. So we're certainly going to talk about that. We're also going to preview the games. But first, I do have to talk about, let me get this here. I do have to talk about the Patreon membership. If you become a Patreon membership of the Roundtable Sports, you will be able to call in to the show at your will. We're basically treating it like a radio show, so you can talk to all the panelists here, talk your trash. I see some of you in the chat talking your trash already, so you could do that live here on the show. So if you are a super chat guy, just $10 a month, join the Patreon. You can call in whenever you want. I think that's a better way to spend your money. Plus, we would love to hear from you guys. And I also have to bring up the fact that the show is brought to you by RotoWire, which is the best fantasy tandem app out there. For me, I like to plug my league into this app and allow it to take over. So a couple things you can do here. Like, you go to NFL football, you can sync. I play on ESPN every year. I can sync my ESPN league if I wanted to. And with syncing it, that allows me to get the best experience when it comes to any of the mock drafts that I want to do. If I want to mock draft specifically to my league rules, keeper league, 2-quarterback league, which is what I usually play, then I can sync everything up right here and mock draft to be prepared for my league. If maybe, let's say I'm new to fantasy football or I'm playing in a generic league, that's okay. You can also do your own mock draft simulators where you set everything up however you want, however you see fit to that new league, and see how everything runs. So I highly, highly recommend getting RotoWire. If you use promo code RTS, you will get 15% off, and enjoy this app because it truly is a game changer when you play fantasy football. It's an app that I've used for the last couple of years, and not gonna lie, I handle myself pretty well when it comes to fantasy football. All right, fellas, let's talk about this next week's games. Let's talk about some joint practices. So last week we had the Colts with a joint practice with the Ravens. Once again, they've got themselves a joint practice with the Packers. So Derek, talk to me about what you want to see and learn from this joint practice.
Well, I mean, it mainly comes down to, again, I just want to be able to see Anthony Richardson actually play and not get hurt. That's the number one thing. Want to continue to see Tyler Warren's development. He's been really good in camp. I want to see how that continues to play out against an actual defense. Mainly just kind of see a little bit of the rookies because, DJ Giddens has done some great things in camp. JT Tuimuluau, who he drafted out of Ohio State, he had a really good game against the Ravens last week, and I would love to see him build upon that. And who else on the defense steps up in the secondary? Because, Kenny Moore's probably not going to play. Charvarius Ward likely not. And then obviously with Justin Wally now going on season-ending knee surgery or ACL surgery, we have to figure out who in the cornerback room is going to actually be able to play. And, this week also we probably won't see Jalen Jones or Juju Brents. So who's going to play at cornerback? Who's going to step up? Who's going to do anything to make me feel like I don't need to panic when it comes to this secondary? So really just looking at those kinds of players, those kinds of position groups.
Yeah, that secondary went from being actually one of the better secondaries to pretty injured pretty quickly, in my
Charvarius
opinion.
Ward had a groin injury 2 weeks ago. He's back, but I don't think he's 100% yet. Kenny Moore is day-to-day. He banged up his knee last week. And then Justin Wally, season-ending ACL injury. Jalen Jones and Juju Brents, who are your fourth and fifth corners, both dealing with hamstrings and haven't practiced for the last 2 weeks. And their timelines, no timetable's been given on when they may return. So I mean, you're literally down to, you have Charvarius Ward and then cornerbacks 2 through 5 non-existent at this current moment. So
that's brutal. Absolutely brutal, man. All right. Well, let's talk to Michael here about his joint practice coming up with the Falcons. That one's actually pretty interesting to me. There's some things that I want to see from both those teams, but in particular, we're talking about Titans right now. So let's bring Michael up and see what he's saying.
Yeah, so for right now, rough day for Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans with their first joint practice with Atlanta. A lot of mistakes, but that's to be expected. If he's not making mistakes, then honestly, he's not learning from them. And at this point, you want to see what your guy's going to do progressing forward and going forward with his basically line of work. But what I do think is interesting, especially with this matchup, we're already in week 2 of preseason. So you're going to start to see some of these starters have an opportunity to jump out and get some snaps and meaningful reps, to get ready for the regular season. So I expect Atlanta's first team to potentially play a little bit against the Titans' first teamers. So, it's going to be interesting to see how our defense looks. T'Vondre Sweat comes back after having his tonsils removed. So, it's good to have him back in the lineup. I think Jeffrey Simmons might get a little bit of work in as well. So I think we'll potentially see a lot of the first teams get some snaps this week. So what's really interesting to me, especially seeing Cam Ward work with the first teamers once again and potentially up against Atlanta's first team.
Yeah, I think that's going to be good because, you've got some young pass rushers over there. And obviously, in joint practice, you're not going to hit or anything like that. But you'll get to see Cam Ward maybe under some duress and be able to work through some of those situations. I think, especially for young quarterbacks, it is so important for these guys to get any work in and practice in these scenarios. Simulated scenarios is still always a very, very good situation. But I have to say, right on cue, we've got a Patreon call-in right here. We've got John M coming in. So let's see what John has to say. John, mic is yours, brother.
What is up? I'm a huge fan of this show, guys. Thank you so much for all the stuff you did. I'm fired up. Now, my question has to be to the three guys that are not Jaguars fans. Are you sick of this Travis Hunter hype? Because I can't stand it. That's all I hear when I turn on ESPN, turn on NFL Network, is Travis Hunter. Is he the most overhyped generational talent, quote unquote, in the world, or what? I'm going to hang up and listen to you guys. Thank you so much for giving me, and I'm excited to keep calling it.
Thanks, John. Appreciate you. Oh, that's a good question. I do have to know, are you guys tired of hearing about Travis Hunter, who hasn't even played a real NFL snap? We'll go with Ruben on this one.
I'm gonna give Travis Hunter some respect here because I won a lot of money on him during his time at Colorado.
Okay.
Overhyped prospect, maybe, right? I believe he did win the Biletnikoff Award for the best college football wide receiver. I don't think he was that, to be honest with you. Now,
And
listen.
the Heisman.
Oh yeah, of course he won the Heisman. Yeah, of course. I'll give it to you. I'll give you that. With Travis Hunter, it's all about, can he do it? And right now, everyone says not only is he going to do it, he's going to be one of the best to do it on both sides of the ball. Listen, overhyped. It's getting there. Thank God there's only 2 more weeks of the preseason, but I'll say yeah, a little bit.
Getting a little tired of it. All right, Michael, you getting a little tired of it?
No, I mean, that's why the Titans drafted Alec Iamander.
Okay. Oh, just to cook him. Is that the whole point?
Yeah, pretty much. No, but realistically, to me, Travis Hunter, he comes in with Reggie Bush hype, and people want to see if he's going to live up to it, and he's got the athletic ability. I'm not going to doubt that, but my biggest question is, can he do it on the NFL level? He says he's done it in high school and in college. That's all good and fine, but you're playing with the big boys now, and I mean, longer schedule, more physical, more demanding. Not to mention the fact offense and defensive coordinators are basically like grabbing them by the arms and legs, pulling them to see who can get them first in the meeting room. So, can he live up to it? I mean, that's going to be the fun to see if he can.
Oh, all right. And it's a lot of pressure. It is a lot of pressure. I know that Jags fans are very, very excited about it, but Derek, that doesn't mean you have to be. What do you think of Travis Hunter?
Yeah, I certainly am not excited. I'm freaking tired of hearing about Travis Hunter, and I'm not saying that just because I'm another AFC South fan from another team. But yeah, I mean, of course, why wouldn't Jaguars fans be super excited about it? And I mean, in all honesty, why wouldn't the media be eating this up? I mean, again, the guy was a bona fide superstar in college and obviously won the Heisman. So of course his name carries a lot of weight, and until it doesn't, and we'll have to see whether or not he lives up to that hype. I agree with Ruben, maybe a little bit overhype for the argument that Michael came with. I said the same thing coming out of the draft when it came to him. I mean, no doubt he has the ability to play both sides, which is a great thing, but do you see him playing both sides of the ball every single snap all the time? And the answer is just mainly no. I know that he has the endurance and likely the stamina to be able to play a good chunk of downs on both sides. But like Michael said, I mean, this is playing with guys that are all just as equally athletic as you, or potentially more athletic, or guys that are stronger than you, and all these other things. So how does that articulate over a span of the season? Of course, he's going to look really good when the first start of the year is there, because, the wear and tear hasn't worn on yet. But of course, when it comes to the end of the year, we're going to get a better idea of just how he can handle that both sides of the ball. And I think he'll be good. Will he be great at either side? I'm not so sure.
All right. Well, I've got a comment here that I've got to get to. But first, let me thank John for being the first Patreon caller of the episode. Link is pinned to the top of the chat. For anybody else that wants to join the Patreon, you can as well. You will have backstage access to call into any of the Roundtable sports shows, as I mentioned earlier. John, great call, brother. Appreciate you. But this comment had me laughing. It says, Travis Hunter's going to get cooked by Derek Stingley just to switch sides and get burnt by Nico.
I
That's
saw,
actually really
I saw
funny.
Ruben's face at first, and I thought that it was the opposite way around. I thought they were saying that Travis Hunter was going to cook Stingley only to cook Nico, but
no,
Hey,
it just goes back to
hilarious.
what Dalton was saying, that he thinks Travis, like is the best cornerback for the Jaguars right now. We got a borderline all-pro wide receiver in Houston and Nico Collins ready to take on that matchup. And then if it's not Nico, it's Christian Kirk. But then on the other side, we got one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. We probably have the best cornerback duo in the NFL. So it's definitely going to be tough, for Travis Hunter when it comes to going against Houston. But can you imagine if it does work out? I mean, this is going to be pretty crazy.
I mean, here's the thing. Everyone's talking about, oh, we're going to get this player to lock this player down. You guys know we have Brian Thomas Jr., right? Third in the NFL receiving yards last year, double-digit touchdowns.
We got
one of the
Kamari
top rookies
Lassiter,
all over
man.
the place.
We got the locksmith, baby. We got the best secondary in the NFL. I'm just talking about us.
It's good for Travis that he doesn't have to be the number one corner and the number one wide receiver on your team going forward. Because if he was, then there'd be some issues.
But we'll see. I mean, I think right now everyone's talking about the hype behind him. I think everyone's talking down on him right now. You have Travis Kelce, you have Devontae Adams saying that he's not going to be able to do it. He can't do it. There's no possible way he can do it. There's people out here. I mean, of course, he had a lot of draft hype, and now everyone's like, he's not going to be able to do it. He can't. There's not many people out there that truly believe that he's going to be able to, play both sides of the ball. So right now it's kind of him against the NFL. So we're definitely in uncharted territory, but it'll be really, really fun to see if he can actually pull this off.
What's crazy is if he became like just a really good corner or just a really good wide receiver, I don't know that trade would be looked at as favorably. It's almost like he has to play both sides and do it effectively to make it seem, you traded an extra first round pick and moved up and all these things. It's like he's almost damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. So he's in a tough spot for sure. I do agree with that, Dalton.
Well, yeah. And I mean, I think he's the first wide receiver drafted number 2 overall since Calvin Johnson, right? And I don't think a cornerback has ever been drafted number 2 overall. So, but the thing is, when you actually, look at different draft reports out there, he's a lot of people's top wide receiver and there's a lot of people's top cornerback, right? So if he can find some way and game to game, he's going to be able to do it. I mean, there's more snaps per game in college football. And but the thing is, there's more NFL games too, right? And you're also doubling your chance of injuries. Also, what's going to happen when he turns 30 years old? I think eventually he might just have to switch to being maybe wide receiver only when he gets to his 30s, just because, if you lose some speed, you're not really very good at cornerback anymore, but you can still be a pretty effective wide receiver if you lose some speed, right? I mean, DeAndre Hopkins has never been the quickest and most athletic wide receiver ever, but
for sure,
really good route runner and catch everything coming his way, right? So it's, we'll see with longevity. It'll also be interesting to see if he does become wide receiver 1 and cornerback 1. What does that contract look like? I don't know. It's fascinating to see.
Yeah, how do you pay a guy like that? Seriously, that's actually a really, really good point. That's I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
I mean, I imagine he's going to want to get paid for his services, right? I'm your top wide receiver. I'm your top cornerback. I mean, if that turns out to be the case, that's going to be a complicated deal to work out.
Yeah, I agree with that. Completely agree. Well, we are still yet to talk about the Texans joint practice. This one right here is a barn burner. Texans, Lions joint practice. Talk about figuring out potentially what type of team you are going to be this is a way to do it, Ruben. What do you think about these joint practices? What are you looking forward to here?
Well, it's actually the Panthers instead of the Lions.
Oh,
We
is it
have
the Panthers? Okay.
Yeah, we have the Lions.
Okay, I
like
figured,
a
I
week
figured
later.
you were playing them. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
My bad. Go ahead.
That's not a barn burner at all.
Yeah.
That's not at all a barn burner. Actually, you know what? There is still something interesting that comes from this.
Yeah, so
You
that's
got both
why
those quarterbers
Yeah,
that
you
were
got the
drafted
number
back
one.
to back, right? So who
That's
looks
a brush.
better?
That's a brush fire at best.
That's Listen, I'm trying to create some interest here, all right?
No, there's definitely going to be interest because all eyes are once again going to be on the Houston Texan offense and to see what they can do against another defense that doesn't have Derek Stingley, Will Anderson Jr., and Danielle Hunter. I keep on saying this: the Texans are going to have one of the best defenses in the NFL, and when you're having a new offense that has a new O-line coach, 5 new starters, a new play caller, it's kind of tough for them. That's why I am excited for Thursday against Carolina. Carolina's defense is not at all what the Houston Texans defense is. They have a good interior defensive lineman in Derek Brown, and I think that's going to be a great test for the interior of our offensive line. But if we start hearing that the Houston offense is having some success out there against Carolina and they may have won the day, then, the confidence in this Houston Texan offense is only going to increase. And then with us having a joint practice and then playing against them, maybe the starters go for the entire joint practice and we don't see the starters on Saturday. Either way, all eyes are going to be on the Houston Texan offense against the Carolina Panthers D.
Do you guys have a joint practice next week with the Lions as well, or no?
Yeah. So we have one after.
That was a week off.
Yeah. So a week off. So it's the Panthers and Lions next, which is going to be fun. I think we're traveling over there to the Lions, but definitely we got Carolina coming up. That's going to be great.
All right. Carolina's like just a little like it's undercard fight for that one. That I'm telling you, that Texans Lions one, I'm gonna have my eyes on that one personally too. So, all right, Dalton. Listen, man, no joint practices this week for you, but you do play the Saints. I mean, one of the best teams in the NFL. You guys got to be ready for this one. What are your thoughts on this preseason game, brother?
Oh, my thoughts. Can we just get the preseason over with? I mean, this crap sucks. Not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not a big preseason guy. You go in there, you get excited to see stars. The next thing you know, Nick Mullins is slinging the rock around barely. But I don't know. I'll be happy when the game is over and there's only 4 quarters left. But on the road, though, there's some stuff to look at. I mean, I imagine the Jaguars play starters. I mean, they only got 1 drive each last week. Then the next week, joint practices with the Dolphins. And I know going back to last year, I know the Jaguars. Doug Peterson and the crew isn't there anymore, but they got so much work against the Buccaneers where they didn't actually play any starters in that game. But there's only 1 day of joint practices with the Dolphins, which is kind of weird. So I don't know. I might expect stars in all games. Maybe they get a little bit of a higher dosage this game. So always excited to see starters play. Travis Hunter, but my eyes are going to probably be on Bashal Tutin, running back, 4th round rookie out of Virginia Tech. I think he has a real chance to be potentially the Jaguars running back 1 by maybe the 2nd or 3rd quarter of the season, just because, Etienne's on the last year of his deal. Bigsby has some issues when it comes to just fumbling and catching, pass pro, all that stuff. So I think they like Bashal Tutin. I'm really excited to see if we can get some more dosage of him, just because, man, he showed a lot of power and speed. And I'm really, really intrigued by that one. But I mean, outside of that, hope to see the Jaguars clean up some penalties. The wide receiver 6 battle, pretty much an open spot. So we'll see if any cream rises to the top of that battle. But overall, I don't know. It's preseason. Like literally, and Cohen said the other day, there's only really 2 spots open on this roster. So yay, backups, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty excited to see if this kicker can keep it up too. I mean, that's
70 yards is crazy. I will say
it really is. Yeah.
Hey, all we
Over
need
72.
Dude,
all we need is
if
12
I'm
yards after a touchback.
Jacksonville, I'm praying that before halftime, I don't give a damn if it's 20 seconds, that I'm getting the ball right before halftime. Because I don't care from where I'm at, I'm booming it. I'm trying shit out if I'm Jacksonville and I have time right before half. Like, hey, 80 yards, 7 seconds left. Let's see what the hell can happen. And if it goes through, then boys, this is game
that is Ruben. That is like the most Jacksonville statement ever. Just trying shit out.
Hey, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited. We'll see. I hope we can do something like that.
All right, Derek, we're gonna get to you in a second. But first, we got Trussler says Colts, but then
name.
spelled it wrong. It's great. Yeah, Trussler's pretty good. Or True Trussler, yeah. Yeah,
He
nice,
must have
man,
a dislocated finger like Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
Don't make fun of my boy.
What did Derek say? I hope Anthony Richardson does good. I hope Daniel Jones does bad.
Hey,
Yeah,
don't ruin his preview. Don't ruin his preview before it begins, okay?
Perfect. Lewis says, "Go Jags from Iowa." Interesting. All right. Can't wait for T-Law, Travis Hunter, and BTJ to drop 50 week 3 on the overrated Texans.
Hey.
Also, Derek, 9-8 ain't happening, bud.
That
Strong
first
words.
statement completely disregards your second statement. Okay. You don't get to talk shit about my team when you over here saying that the Jags are going to drop 50 on the Texans.
You sound more offended by the first statement than the Colts.
Right? He does.
Way to
First
stand
of
up
all,
for the
Lewis, you look like you're from Iowa, brother. All right. Don't be talking
What
about
that
my
means.
Houston Texans team. And I'll see you week 3 when the 50 is dropped by CJ Stroud and the boys. And poor Travis Hunter is on the ground, banging on the floor, wishing he wouldn't have proposed. I can't wait for week 3.
Oh, gosh.
Lewis, I guess
that
we're cool
was
because I'm
rough.
not in your statements, so whatever.
Yeah, Lewis, and I'm in your statement, so all I got to say is Duval.
That's great.
Lewis, I would love for you to be a Patreon member to call in, brother. I think that would be must watch television for sure. All right, let's talk about those Colts though and their preseason game that they've got coming up against the Packers. There's no reason to talk about anything else other than this
Pinky
quarterback
promise?
position, right? It's quarterback position, right? This is all we care about at this point.
Probably.
All right. Well, I feel for you, Derek, because last week there was so much excitement, and within one week and one dislocated pinky, man, it's like
the shift is
just
crazy.
so defeated, man. I'm so
Can
sorry for you.
Can I just say, like, I
First,
just want to
Derek
talk
Grant.
about that play again?
Listen,
I just want to
I'll
talk
give
about
you
that
the
play
show.
again.
Here you
Because
go. Bro. Do
First,
your
Derek
thing.
Grant.
Okay, so
Try to keep this under 5 minutes.
I have never seen that. So I never seen something like that happen specifically. I know that there's been times where quarterbacks mess up on, blocking schemes and, that results in them getting destroyed. But like, I genuinely am still so confused at that, because how in the world can you possibly not know that you're going to shift your line to the left, aka leaving somebody free on that right side, and you just look left and you never once thought to think that there might be somebody just running down your ear on the right side? I find that insanely hard to believe. So I am just like genuinely confused by it. And then, of course, like you said, it kind of just brings the whole mood down, because now I have to, because everybody in the chat understands this, because you're in the chat right now. I'm having to stream this game as a fan while still sitting there having to talk about this game while knowing that Anthony Richardson is hurt once again. And then I have to listen to my chat just talk for ages about how stupid Anthony Richardson is and how trash this season is. Like the season is over before it even starts, all this stuff. It was a rough time for me, man. It was rough for me last week.
It was rough for you. Dalton and I had to go through last year talking about our teams trying to even win a game.
Yeah, we were talking about who's going to lose worse. And they beat us. Titans were 2-0 against us.
Yeah,
and we still got the first pick.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And yeah, Derek, I think the issue with Anthony Richardson was maybe he was lagging that play. It looked like his internet was glitching and just got popped. So I'm not really sure.
It looked like it a little bit, dude, for sure. That it was. I'm so genuinely confused by that play, man. I hope it never happens again.
Derek, how are you confused? Because that play happens more often than not. It sounds like you have a bit of denial in you, right? The offensive line is always you block the guy closest to the quarterback.
Just willingly take a defender straight up the ass, bro. I've never seen that.
Derek, I've never seen it. You are so hot and cold on Anthony Richardson. Last year, you were like throwing him in the trash can, and now you're like all back.
No, Mike. Remember, it was 8 quarters. 8 quarters.
The 8 quarters.
Believe that Anthony Richardson was the next.
6.4 rushing touchdowns.
I was so hype on
Derek.
Anthony
You are the
Richardson
Katy Perry of loving Anthony Richardson.
I don't.
Derek was giving us like third quarter stats last year.
Season with a lot more optimism, dude.
He was 5-6 in every third quarter of the season. How can you not think he's good?
When he wears a blue jersey, which we're wearing on Sunday, he's 6 for 0 on touchdowns to interception ratio. And when he wears, that was Derek last year. I'm just wondering. I think everybody who's bought an Anthony Richardson jersey should be able to trade it for a red non-contact jersey.
I'm sorry that my team brings more entertainment to the division than yours does.
Dude, we've brought plenty of entertainment. Now, last year, I will admit but the thing is, Derek, when you suck, you got to bottom out, bro. That's the issue with the Colts. You guys were awful last year, but you were like 8-9 somehow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you're gonna, we're still just quarterback away from being an actual contender,
and you still don't have a quarterback. So you're gonna be like 7-10 this year, and you're gonna be like, all right, well, maybe we'll give Danny Dimes a 3-year extension.
You don't get to continue to keep dogging my team's record when it comes to your team, brother.
We were ass last year, but we bottomed out. We went 4-12, 4-13, and we were able to get an elite difference-making player.
When the stuff starts going for you guys bottom out because you guys give up. The Colts don't do that.
Yeah, but you got to bottom out.
Colts. This is our team.
You have to bottom out if you want to win a Super Bowl one day. Like, look at the Steelers. Look at the Steelers, for example. The Steelers will never win a Super Bowl until they bottom out because they can't get a quarterback. They'll get the playoffs.
They invest 90% of their freaking cap space on their defense.
Yeah, but they'll never
do anything offensively. They're stuck in the old times.
Yeah, but they'll never be able to get a quarterback though. And that's the Colts, but the Colts always have like 3 less wins. So, I mean, look when you guys got Anthony Richardson. You guys got like the 3rd quarterback available. You should have lost more. You should have taken a page from, the Texans. The Texans knew how to tank that year.
The Chicago Bears back in 2023 and took C.J. Stroud. That's what we should have done.
No, we didn't tank. Yeah. We won that last game against Indy because Lovie Smith wanted to just stick it to all the fans. And thank God we lucked into C.J. Stroud. But I'm with that. I mean, with Dalton, I'd rather be 4-12 than 7-9, 7-10, because then I feel like I'm stuck in purgatory.
Sometimes you got to bottom out the clean house, right? We went,
but they had the number 4th overall.
I'm not going to wish for my team. I'm not going to wish for my team to bottom out.
Oh no, you should. You should. That's how you guys got luck. That's how you guys got Peyton Manning.
That's what I think the team's record is going to be. It's not what I said I want them to be. I want them to be 10-7 or 11-6 and go into the playoffs and make me feel like as if there's some direction with Anthony Richardson, but I can't sit here and say
how is mid a direction?
Derek,
what's mid about 10-7 and 11-6 and going to the playoffs?
Okay, you know what? You know who you sound like? You sound like the Houston Texans fans that are just fine with just winning the division and losing in the 2nd round of the playoffs. Oh, just because we got there. No, you got to get, just for me, we got to get a place where you never gone before.
Division in 10 years, and you also haven't won a playoff game in like 6. I mean, you'll take whatever the heck you can get to start heading in the right direction.
Well, and Derek, you also said last week you're rooting against Danny Dimes. So I don't know what to deal with you, man.
Yeah,
I don't know when you root for him, when you don't root for him.
He's the Katy Perry Colt fan.
I would rather suck and play with Anthony Richardson than be mid and play with Daniel Jones. I mean, I would rather do that. At least then I know for absolute certainty that Anthony Richardson is not the story and it's time to move on and you go get yourself a new quarterback.
It's time to get you a new quarterback.
It's time.
than be mid with Daniel Jones.
I'm actually going to stand up for
You
Derek
are like
on that
a
one. I think he's
a
right. 'cause
jilted lover. You were a
Da-
jilted lover, man. You're like defending like your ex, and it's like sickening.
What are you
just-
talking about? What?
Just
I'm
let it
saying I was
go. He
supposed to
can't
do
hurt
that.
you anymore,
That's how
Derek.
I'm
He's very
defending it.
beautiful to me.
Just let go of that pinky. Let go.
Oh,
He
man.
did. He almost lost it. Okay, that's what that shit looked like last Thursday. Okay,
He tried to
Jesus.
Ronnie Lott himself on that one. That's crazy.
Can you imagine if he did it for a preseason game? I would be locked back in on Anthony Richardson. If
No,
he did that.
Derek, imagine this. What if Danny Dimes becomes a starting quarterback and Anthony Richardson moves to tight end? That
Guys, we have in the last.
Don't you give him
What?
hope.
we're
Don't
in the
you give him
last
hope.
3 seasons. In the last 3 seasons,
that's the route to 9-8.
you have had either at absolute best, the Indianapolis Colts have had average quarterback play. At best, most of the time it's been below average to straight trash. And yet somehow, some way, 3 out of the last 4 years, the Indianapolis Colts have been 1 game away from making the playoffs each and every season. And you're telling me if we don't get even just average quarterback play from one of these quarterbacks, that we can't make the playoffs some way, shape, or form when we almost make it with trash quarterback play. I mean, I
Gardner
don't think
Minshew is
any
not
of your
trash.
teams outside of maybe Rubens could potentially say that. Because Rubens' team is actually built different than the rest of you guys'.
Yeah, baby. Ford.
Derek, I'm hearing you say way too many nice things about the Texans and Ruben, and I don't know, man. I'm you want to draft CJ Stroud, like you're kind
I
of
wanted
looking
to.
like a Texans fan.
A little.
Hey, I sat here I sat here and I wanted CJ Stroud so bad that draft, dude. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Why should I feel bad about wishing we had?
Well, and he was
CJ
right.
Stroud?
I mean, you were right about that. That's the guy that you probably should have wanted, right?
This is
Like,
what
that's-
one preseason game does to Derek, boys.
Oh gosh, this season's gonna be fantastic with the 4 of you. This is too much. Derek, man, it's tough. Like, you're getting jumped here. It's I don't even know
Yeah,
how
I
you
know.
fight back. I try to help you, and then I just got overwhelmed. I don't know what
When
to do. Man. I'm
Michael's
sorry.
team goes 5-12, and then the Jaguars lose Lawrence again because he, gets hurt somehow, some way again, and then that's the every year excuse, and then we're still second in the division at 9-8 or some crap like that, and then I'm sitting here at the end of the year like I told you so. So it's fine.
These comments in the chat got me weak.
Dude, that honestly
I
was one of the
can't.
worst nights of my life. Like,
I
honestly,
remember where I
that
was when that happened.
Did you
I
boo him off the
remember
field?
exactly where I was. That
Did you
was
boo him?
literally the worst night of my life.
You know
Did
he
you boo
did.
him?
You know he did.
He
What did I do?
Did
You
you boo
booed
him
him.
off the field when you're at that game?
I wasn't at that game. I'm glad I wasn't. Oh, geez.
Oh gosh, guys, this was a fantastic show. Listen, we talked about the joint practices for the other 3 teams. I know we didn't get to the games, but come on, the joint practices are more important, all right? And we did get to the one single team in the Jags that don't have a joint practice and talked about their game.
I gave some really
But-
good analysis on that one.
I think you did a really good analysis. I know that either way, there's going to be something that comes out of these games that is going to be a conversation starter for next week. Cannot wait to be back with the boys next week, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays for the AFC South Roundtable. You guys brought it tonight. Everybody in the chat, appreciate you. Once again, show is brought to you by RotoWire. Promo code RTS for 15% off. It is the best fantasy tandem app out there. We'll be back next week. Peace.
Duval.